So till the last session, we were talking about how to do the design of manual design of different types of footings. So we have seen how to do the manual design of uh, 5 different types of footings. That's I'll call it as level 1. So in level 1, what we have completed, I'll just show you. I'll just write it down, whatever we have done. So we have seen basically in level 1, we have worked on manual design of footings. Manual design of footings, that is what we have seen. And under this, we have designed a square footing. This is the first thing that we have worked out. And then we have worked out the rectangular footing. And then we have seen how to design a sloped or trapezoidal footing. Trapezoidal footing. And then we have designed the combined footing. And the last one we have designed is a strap footing. So these are the 5 different types of footings that we have designed in the level 1. So from today's onwards, we are going to look into level 2, which will be talking about the software design. So here what we are going to do is we'll be doing with the software design of footings. So the same footings, whatever we have discussed in the manual design, the same things we are going to do it here also, but by using the software called CSI Safe software. Okay, we'll be using a software called CSI Safe, and by using this, we are going to do that. And parallelly, when I'm going with level 2, what I'll do is I'll also discuss level 3 as well. Okay, what is level 3? Level 3 is all about the the Excel sheet calculation. So parallelly with level 2, we are also be going to talk about Excel sheet preparation. So I have already predefined Excel sheets. So I'll share you those Excel sheets once after we complete the entire software design calculations. So I'll be showing you how to use those Excel sheets also. For all the 5 types, I have the Excel sheets. I'll be sharing you these Excel sheets so you can work. You can just have to give the input values, and accordingly it will give the output results. So these things also I'll be sharing with you. So level 2 and level 3 will go hand in hand. Okay. And finally in level 4, where we'll be talking about this particular level 4 is not too important, but what we'll be talking in level 4 is we'll be looking after the soil investigation report. Okay, I'll show you how the soil investigation reports looks like. It hardly needs some half an hour of explanation. Nothing much we are going to talk here, but I'll show you how to work with the soil investigation reports and all. So these are the 3 levels that we have currently in pending. Okay, so from today's class, we'll be starting the level 2. Parallelly, level 3 will also be going on. Right. So before I actually talk about the software design of all these 5 types of footings, let me explain you a few things about CSI Safe software. Let us understand what is the full form of software, what exactly it requires. All these things we'll talk. And then we'll jump into the brief overview of the software. And then I'll start designing the square footing, starting from rectangular, square, all these things. Okay. So before starting this particular session, what I'll do is I'll be showing you how to download and install the software from official website. So you can download the software by using the Google Drive link, which I have shared with you, or you can also download the software directly by going to the official website. But anyway, since official website is actually important, so I'll show you how to go to the official website and how to download the software. So you just have to go to Google, and this is the website that you have to go, CSI America. So I'll just paste it here so that you can use it this one. So once you go to this particular website, you can see multiple options like home, products, sales, support, developer, news, contact, right? So here, if you look into the products, okay, these are the different products of the CSI. So what is CSI? CSI is nothing but Computers and Structures Incorporation. That's the full form of CSI. Okay, Computers and Structures Incorporation. So this CSI has worked with multiple softwares like SAP, CSI Bridge, ETAPS, which is the advanced version of the design of software. I mean, manual design, I mean, the analysis of multi-story buildings. So we also have separate batch, which is running for ETAPS as well. And then CSI Safe, and then Perform 3D, CSI Plant, CSI Columns, Rivet, CAD. So these are the different softwares which are being provided by CSI. Now currently you need CSI Safe software. So in order to download the CSI Safe software, you can see an option called products here. So just click on products here and it will list you what are the different products that is provided by CSI. Okay, that is Computers and Structures Incorporation. So here we need a software called Safe. Okay, we need a software called Safe. So just click on Safe software here. And here, if you go into the Safe software, I mean, once you click on Safe software, you can see brief details of couple of things. Like this is actually the analysis part. Okay, so this is actually the modeling part. So we will be doing these ones. Okay, not in this large level, but at foundation level we will be seeing. So this is actually the ETAPS model. Okay, this is actually the ETAPS model. And then finally, we'll be designing the manual design, and then we'll compare with the software calculations. Okay, right. So now here, in order to download the software, you can see an option called a trial here. Okay, you can see an option called trial. So if you want to download a software and install the CSI Safe software, if you want to know what is the system requirements, you can click on system requirements and it will tell you what kind of requirements you need. So what is the type of processor you should have. So and then what is the type of operating system you should have, the video card, the memory, all these things. Most probably nowadays, all the laptops are coming with these kind of specifications. But anyways, you just check it whether these specifications are meeting or not, right? And if you want any sample videos of how to work with CSI Safe software, you can see an option called videos. Okay, there is an option called videos, and here you can see there are multiple videos which talks about the CSI Safe software. These are just a sample videos, nothing much details will be there here. So they are just like 15 minutes, 10 minutes length videos. Right. So now, in order to download this one, so you can see an option called a trial. So just click on trial. So once you click on trial, you will be getting the CSI Safe software download request form. And once you download the software and once you install, from the day of install, you will be getting 30 days of trial version. You can see here, use of the trial version is limited to 30 days. Okay, after which time you must acquire a standard license from CSI Safe to continue using the software. So you can use it for 30 days, and after 30 days, you no more can use the trial version. It automatically gets expired. But anyways, since you are just beginner, so you can download and you can work with the trial version of the software. So here you can see, so CSI Safe trial request form. So you select the software. So we need basically the Safe software only, but there are other softwares also which you can download. Similarly, if somebody is good at, or if somebody wants to work on ETAPS also, so you can download ETAP software by clicking here. Okay. Anyways, let us concentrate on Safe software. So just click on Safe. And if you just give the email ID, whatever email ID that you give here, and then check this box and then click on Submit. So once you click on Submit, what will happen is you will receive an email, okay, with a link. So once you click that link and once you follow the instructions that are available in the link, you can download the software. Okay, you can download the software. So that's how the trial version of the software you can download. So what I will recommend you as a beginner is it's better you go with the trial version software. After that, I mean, once after we complete the classes, I'll show you how to install the cracked version, because I have given you the cracked version. Some of you are messaging me that you're not getting how to install, or some people had told me that they are stuck at some points while installing the software. So anyways, I'll let you know. But for time being, in order to follow the regular classes, you can go with the trial version, which will come for 30 days. And remember that whenever the day you installed the software, from that day 30 days will count. Suppose let's say today you have downloaded the software into your laptop. Okay, today you have downloaded the software into your laptop. Today is 23rd. Tomorrow you have installed that into your laptop. So from tomorrow only the 30 days count will start. Not from the downloaded time, from the installed time, the software count will get started, or the trial period will get started. So that's about how to install the trial version of CSI Safe software. So I'll give you this link as well. So you can work with this link as well. Okay, csiamerica.com. You can just Google it. Okay, right. So now how exactly the software will looks like. So before that, what is the full form of CSI safe? So CSI is nothing but computer structure incorporation. Okay, computer structured incorporation. That's the full form of CSI. Sorry, yeah, CSI incorporation. Now, what is meant by safe software, or what is meant by safe? What is the full form of safe? You can say. So safe full form is nothing but slab analysis. Slab analysis by finite element method. Slab analysis by finite element method. So we have a separate software where we can do the finite element analysis of various members like the cylinders or the slab or even the columns, whatever. So for finite element methods, we have a separate software which is called as Abacus. Okay, there is another software called Abacus. So you can use Abacus software also for finite element method. But especially if you want to do the slab analysis along with the finite element methods, then you have only one software which is called a CSI Safe. Okay, by using this Safe software, we can do the slab analysis, especially the footing slabs or the foundation slabs. Okay, that's what we are going to see now. Right. So once you open the software, so this is how the software looks like. Let me show you the icon of the software. So let me show you that. Here you can see the CSI safe. Okay, safe 2016 underscore main. Okay, so this is how the icon of the safe software looks like. And once you open the software, this is how it looks like. Okay, you can see the plan view, you can see the model explorer. Okay, multiple options are there. We'll talk about all of these options one by one as we progress. So currently what I'll focus is I'll try to explain you how to understand this user interface. Okay, first let us understand the user interface and then we'll start doing the modeling part, a simple modeling part, right? So here, let me close this one. Model Explorer is not required for us. So let me close this one, right? So this is how it looks like now. Okay, right. So now you can see on the top, file, edit, view, all these options. Okay, file, edit, view, define, draw, all these things up to help. So this one is called as top main menu bar. Okay, this one, these entire ones are called as top main menu bar. Okay, you can see the menu options, right? File, edit, view, define. So these are all called as top main menu bar. So you can make a note of this top main menu bar. And you are seeing some icons below that. Okay, under the top main menu bar, you are seeing some icons. Okay, on the top, you are seeing some icons. And along the left side of the window also, you are seeing some icons. Okay, so the top icons, whatever the icons that you're seeing on the top, these are called as quick access bar. Okay, these are called as quick access bar. Okay, this is the top main menu bar or menu bar, you can say, and this is called as quick access bar. And this one is also called as quick access bar. You can, some people will call it as left quick access bar, and then this one as top quick access bar. Okay, so in simple terms, you can call it as quick access bar. So this is a quick access bar. So all these icons are quick access bars, and all these icons on the left side are also called as quick access bars. Okay, right. So that's the two things that you have to remember. One is main menu bar or top main menu bar, and then top quick access bar and left quick access bar. Right. So here, how to open a new model. As soon as you open the software, you will be unable to see the options of edit, view, all these things. You can see these are actually not highlighted. Okay, these are disabled. You can see the file icon, which is actually enabled, and you can see the help icon also got enabled. Okay, only file and help icons are enabled. Remaining icons, they are not enabled. Even if I try to click, I'm just clicking on it. Even if you try to click, it will not work. Why? Because these options, starting from edit to options, these options will work only when you are working with the model. When you just open the software, you will be only seeing file icon and help icon only. Okay, right. Now, how to open a new model or how to create a new model? So in order to create a new model, you can see an option called file here. Okay, there is an option called file. So just click on file here And you can see three options here. First one is called as a new model. Second one is called as new model from existing file. And third one is called as open. Okay, these three are important. I'll talk about the remaining ones in some time. So the first one is called as new model. What is meant by new model? When you are starting it from the first time. Okay, when you want to model it from the first time onwards, then you are going to open a new model. It's something like new file. So when you are working with the Word document, okay, suppose let's say when you are opening the Word document, so you will have an option. Okay, so you can see blank document, or you can see an option called new. So when you select new, you can select blank document. So now the model gets started. So now you can type whatever that you want. Similarly, in Safe also, if you go to File, New Model, and you can see a dialog box is getting displayed. Okay, there is this dialog box, which is called as a New Model Initialization. Okay, New Model Initialization. So what does this dialog box talks about? So in this dialog box, we have to provide two types of data. What is that data? The first one is called as design data. Okay, the first one is called as design data. And the second one is called as initial model. These are the two data that we have to provide. And in the design data, the first thing that we have to provide is the design code. So according to which code you want to do the design part, or you want to do the modeling part. Okay, according to which code. So usually here we have different codes starting from ACI code, IS codes, European codes, French codes, multiple codes are available. Let me show you that. So if you click on this drop down, you can see there are multiple codes that are available. So all these are ACI codes. ACI is nothing but American Concrete Institute codes, and then BS codes, that is British Standard codes, and then CSA type of codes, Euro codes, Hong Kong based codes, Indian Standard Code, which is basically IS 456 2000, Italian code, New Zealand code, and then SG and TS codes. Okay, so these are the different codes. So since we are working with Indian scenarios, we will always select IS 456 2000. So that's our code version. And then you can see the next option, which is called as a design preferences. So what is this? So here in the design preferences, we are going to look after what actually will be there in the design preferences. And here you can see an option called modify or show. Okay, you can see an option called modify or show. Let's see what will be there once when you click modify or show. So click on modify or show, and here you can see multiple options like what is the code that you have selected. Okay, design code. So from here also you can select the code, whatever that you want. So usually IS456. And then resistance factors, that is partial safety factor. We know the partial safety factor for steel, according to Indian Standard Code, is taken as 1.15, and partial safety factor for concrete as per Indian Standard Code is 1.5. If you want to change these also, you just have to double click in that window. Okay, just click on that and then double click it. You can change it. Suppose let's say instead of 1.5, I want to change it to 1.6. So that's fine. You can do that. So usually we'll have the partial safety factor for steel as 1.15 and partial safety factor for concrete as 1.5. That's the code. And then minimum cover. So when we are designing the footings, we have talked about the cover to the slabs, all these things, right? So minimum cover at top, cover at bottom, preferred bar size, all these things we are going to see. So post tensioning we will not be talking about, because post tensioning is the advanced concept where we are not going to look into in this particular program. Okay, it's a completely a separate program. And then minimum reinforcement. So whether it's a one-way slab or two-way slab, you can see. So whether it's a one-way slab you want to design or a two-way slab you want to design. That's a minimum cover. And then minimum cover to beams. So when beams will come while designing the footings, especially the strap beams or strap footings. So in that case, you have to design the preferences of the beams. And then PRT stress check, that is called as a post tensioning or pre-tensioning stress checks. Again, this tab will not be using because this is again an advanced level, so will not work out. So these are actually the design preferences. Okay, so we'll be using these design preferences once we start modeling the part, right? And then the next option is project information. Okay, the next option is project information. So here, what options will be there is the information related to project, that is the name of the project, when have constructed. I'll show you. Click on modify or show, and here you can see the project information such as client name, project number, company name, engineer, who is going to check that, who is going to supervise that, and then the model name. So these are all optional ones. You can give any names. So usually, as per as me, if you ask me which I am going to consider for my real-time projects, I'll mostly try to give the client name here. So you just double click and you just give the client name. So I'll just use, let's say something like Kiran as the client name. And the project name, I'll just give it as G+3 building. G+3 building, something like this. And then the project number. Let's say how many projects I have done for this client called Kiran. Let's say this is my first project. So I'll just give it as first project. And then company name. So I'll just give my own company name, which is called as Civilido. So like that, you can give any name, whatever you want. But here, the important thing is whichever is having this asterisk symbol. You can see a star symbol, right? That's called as asterisk. So these asterisk symbols are important. So you have to give the details of asterisk symbols. Suppose model name. Let's say I'll give it as footings, some name. And then revision number. If it is my first model, I'll just give it as first revision. Okay. So like this, we have to give the project information. Right. So currently I don't give any project information, so I'll just cancel it. Right. And then the next one, which is most important one, just like the STAD, just like the AutoCAD, units determination is very important, or units giving is very important. So units, we always select the metric type of units only. In order to check whether we have it's in a metric type of units or not, just click on this modify or show. So just click on modify or show, and you can get the different units. Let me clear these ones. Right. Can you see the units here? US defaults, metric defaults, consistent units, and these are the different ones. So usually we'll go with metric defaults. Metric defaults means we'll get the units in terms of meters, kilonewtons, all these things. When you go to US defaults, you'll get in terms of inches, feet, and the pounds per square inch, all those things you can see. So inches, feet, all these things, kilopascals, right? So whenever we are working, since we are familiar with metric standards, we always try to select the metric defaults on, right? So currently, again, this is also not important for me. I'm just showing you here. So once you select all these data, whatever that is required, so you can initialize the model. Now, there are multiple ways of initializing the model. Suppose, let's say you want to start the model from the scratch. Okay, you want to start the model from the scratch. That means everything you want to do. Then you will select blank as the section. Okay, then you will select blank. So once you select blank, what will happen is nothing will be visible except the plain white screen. Okay, whatever the screen that you are seeing on the back side. Now you are seeing some screen, right? Just like this, the screen will be visible. That's a blank screen. So you have to do everything. That's blank. And then flat slab. So when you want to design a flat slab, see, as soon as I click the flat slab, it is asking some specifications, flat slab dimensions, flat slab specifications, all these things. So like that, flat slab. And then flat slab perimeter beams. So when you want to design a flat slab with beams as the perimeter, then two-way slab design, base mat, that is mat footing, and then grids only. When you select grids only, what will happen is you will see all the grids. Okay, it is asking you the number of grids, all these things. Again, we'll talk about these things. So, and then waffle slab. So waffle slabs, you might be having an idea. Ribbed slab, single footing, combined footing. So like this, we are going to use the template. So mostly whenever we work in any software, we'll always try to select blank as the option. Okay, we'll always select blank as the option. Why blank as the option? It is because whenever we are working with blank software, we have everything in our hand. Okay, we have everything in our hand because we will do on our own. Okay, we will do on our own. Right. So that's what the basic introduction to the software. Right. So that's about new model. So how to create a new model? Let me repeat once again. So just go to File and then click on New Model, and the New Model initialization box will come. And here you have to select the preferences. Right. That's one thing. Suppose, let's say, let's take the second part. Suppose let's assume that you already have some existing file. Okay, you already have modeled some file. Let's assume it in this way. Let's say you are working for a client called Kiran. Okay, you are working for a client called Kiran. Now, what Kiran had done is, let's assume that in 2020, Kiran has given you some work. Okay, Kiran is working with a client called, let's assume that Kiran is working with a uh, company called Civilido. So he had approached a Civilido company, and in 2020, he had approached Civilido. And what Civilido has done, what this firm has done, they have provided the design or the manual design and analysis of, not manual design, the design and analysis of the foundation slabs, all the foundations, whatever that is there. Let's assume that he has given the design for G plus 2. Okay, he has given the design for G plus 2 in 2020. Now, the same client, that is Kiran, had approached the same company, that is Civilido, in 2023. Now, what he is telling now is, in 2023, he had approached the same firm, and he is telling that in the G plus 2 structure, okay, in the existing structure, I want to increase two more floats. So I want to increase two more floats. That means I want to make it to G plus 4. Instead of G plus 2, I am increasing two additional floats. So therefore, it becomes G plus 4. Now, he is going to he is telling that the client is telling to the company that I want to increase the number of floats on the same structure. So this is the practical scenario. Now, in that case, what you have to do? So you should know the details of what is done in the G plus 2 structure. What kind of materials are have been used? What is the sizes of the footings? What is the sizes of the columns? All these things you should know. So one thing, especially when you are a practice engineer, you should always remember one thing, that is, whenever you are working for any client, you try to save all the files, whatever you are working for any client. Let's say you have done some AutoCAD drawing. You save it in a separate folder. You save it in a hard disk, because you don't know when the client will again come. At least for 10 years, you have to save the data. At least for 10 years. More than 10, it's not required. At least for 10 years. Suppose, let's say, I have I have designed in 2020 and I have deleted. I felt like, okay, it's not required. It is occupying extra space in my laptop or in my hard disk. So I have deleted all the files related to this particular client called Kiran. Now, by chance, Kiran has approached you in 2023. Now, again, do you need to go and design for all these things? Yes, obviously. Why? Because you don't have this data. So you should get the data from the client. Let's assume that client is also not having the data. Then what you have to do? You have to do the site investigation. So you have to go to the site, you have to sit with the client, and then you have to understand. I mean, you have to sit with your engineers, or you have to sit with the draft persons, and you have to understand how you have designed all these things. So to avoid that clumsiness, or to avoid that complications, you try to save, especially if you are a practice engineer, you try to save the files, whatever you are working, at least for 10 years. After 10 years, you delete it. There is no use. Okay. So in 2023, he has come and he had told you that I want to increase two more floats. Now, in that case, let's assume I have the file which I have created in 2020. Okay, I have the file which I have created in 2020. Then by using this 2020 file, I will create a new file in 2023. Okay, I have some existing file of the same building. See, here buildings are not getting changed. Only the number of floats are getting changed. So I have the design and I have the analysis of 2020 type 20 model. Now by using this data, I am going to design the additional floats, right? So how to do that? So for that, just go to file and you can see an option called new model from existing file. So there is already an existing file. Okay, you already have the previous file or the previous working model, and from that model, you want to create a new model. See, from the existing file, you are going to create a new model. So I already have G plus 2 data. So from this G plus 2 file, I'm going to create a new file, which is for G plus 2. Again, I mean, additional two floats, right? So that's how this option is useful. So file, new model from existing file. Once you click on this one, it will ask you to select the existing file. Once you click on this, it will take you, you have to select wherever that file is available. You have to select that file and then you have to click on open. Then it will open and you have to work accordingly. Currently, I don't have any file, so I'll try to show it to you once when we do some 3 or 4 modeling parts. That's how you can work with. Right. So that's the new model or new file from new model from existing file. Now suppose let's assume the third scenario, which is, let's say yesterday, that is or today, let's say 23/8/2023. So on this day you have designed or you have modeled, let's say you have just modeled the isolated footing, okay, isolated square footing. Today you have modeled the isolated square footing. You have just modeled, you have not analyzed it, or you haven't done anything, you have just modeled it and you saved it. Okay, you have just modeled the file, modeled the footing, and then you have saved the file. And tomorrow, okay, that is 24/8/2023, you want to open the same file. Okay, you want to open the same file. How to do that? So for that, we have an option which is called as file, and then click on open. Okay, you are opening the already existing file. So open and then select the file, whichever file that you want, you select that one, and then you can work with that one. So that's the three ways of opening a file. Okay, these are the three different ways of opening a file. So the first one is opening a complete new model. The second one is new model from existing file. And the third one is opening an already existing file. That means if you want to open a new file, then you can open by using the open option. Correct. So that's how the files can be opened in three different ways, depending upon the requirement. And then you can see an option called import. Okay, there is an option called import. So suppose if you want to import the file, you can import. But what type of files you can import? There are five different types of files. You can see there. There are five different types of files that you can import. The first one is the safe file. Okay. The second one is AutoCAD drawings, that is DWG or DXF type of files. And then the third one is Rivet files. Okay. If you're good at Rivet, I mean, if you're doing the interior modeling of Rivet, so you can work with Rivet also, Rivet files. And then .mdb files, these are actually the advanced version of the file. And then Excel files also you can work. So these are the five different types of files that you can import into the CSI Safe software. So usually what I suggest is don't try to import the files until or unless if you feel complicated in modeling the part. Okay, till the time if you're not, if you feel the modeling is not a complicated process, you don't try to import it. Why? Because when you are importing, there will be certain chances of errors will come. So it's not usually suggested in any software, not just in safe software, even in ETABS or even in Rivet, whatever the type of softwares that you are using. Always try to avoid importing the files from one software to another software or from one format to another format, because when you are changing the format, automatically some errors, there are chance of errors that will appear. So to avoid those errors, try to create a new model only. Right. So that's about these options. Now what we will do is, let me show you how to start a new model. Okay, let me show you how to start a new model. Now, whenever you are working with the model, there are multiple steps that you are going to talk about. So let us work with a couple of things first. So how to start a new model? So in order to start a new model, just go to File. Right. Before that, if you have any doubts up to here, you can just unmute and ask the doubts. Any doubts for anybody up to here? Okay, I consider that you don't have any doubts. Okay, fine. Right. So how to open a new model? So just go to File, click on New Model, and then a dialog box appears, that is New Model Initialization. So I already told you we are going to select the design code, which is IS456-2000. So let us select IS456-2000. Okay, and then the design preferences. So here you can just click on Modify or Show. You can let's just cross check whether the design code is IS456 or not, and then steel factor of safety and concrete factor of safety. Okay, so you just verify the details, and here minimum cover to slabs. So you can define the cover to the slabs here, or you can also define while modeling also. Okay, before modeling also you can define, after modeling also you can define, or not after modeling, during modeling also you can define. Anyways, I'll show you both ways. So first I'll show you how to define the cover to the slabs before modeling part. So clear cover usually for footings, as we have talking, we'll take the clear cover as 50 mm. So both clear cover should be same, both on top as well as at the bottom. So clear cover at top, I'm taking it as 50 mm, and clear cover at bottom also, I'm taking it as 50 mm. Okay, and then preferred bar size, you can take 12 mm, 16 mm, 18 mm. You can see up to 50 mm, the bar size you can take starting from 6 mm. So usually we'll take either 12, 14, 16, 18. Up to 18 we'll go, not more than that. 16 is the maximum that we go, but sometimes we'll go up to 18 also. Right. So let me select 12 as the size. Okay. And then here what we are going to do, we are going to modify all these details. As I was mentioning, can modify all these details in the later stages also. Okay, in the beginning and during the modeling part also, we can work with. So anyways, let it be like this. So, and then the minimum cover to beams, P by T stress check, all these things are not required. So let us go with OK. Okay, just click on OK. Right, I have defined the design preferences. And then the next one is project information. So here, what we are going to do, we are going to look into the project info. We are going to provide the project information. If you want to provide, you can provide. Okay, so I shown you earlier, right? You can just type, just double click here, you will be able to type it. So currently I don't provide any information. Let it be like this, no problem. And then the last one, which is important, which is units. So I told you units we always take in terms of metrics only. Okay, let's click on modify or show. And if you click on that, you can see metric default. Just click on metric defaults and automatically the metrics will get changed. Okay, or the units will get changed into metric system. And then click on OK. Right. So which model we are going to work with? Do we have any existing model? No, nothing is there. Are we going to design a flat slab, all these things? No. So let us go with the blank option. So let us go with the blank option. Or you can also go with grids only. There is no problem. Anything we can go. Since we have to draw grids in order to model, I always try to prefer grids only. Instead of blank, I'll try to go with grids only. Okay, right. So what will happen when you click grids only? So when you click on this one, grids only, here you can see it is asking you coordinate system definition. Okay, coordinate system definition. This is one dialog box. And usually we have two types of coordinates. One is called as Cartesian coordinates, and the second one is called as cylindrical coordinates. Okay, Cartesian coordinates and cylindrical coordinates. So you can see currently it is there in the Cartesian coordinates, and the second one is cylindrical coordinates. What's the difference between Cartesian and cylindrical? Cartesian is nothing but in terms of x and y. Okay, in terms of x and y. Whereas cylindrical is nothing but in terms of radius and angle. Okay, in terms of radius and angle, you can see along radius, along theta, that means angle. So we always prefer in terms of Cartesian coordinates only, not in terms of cylindrical coordinates. Until or unless if you are designing a square, a circular footing or a circular type of mat footing, in that cases only we'll go with cylindrical. So usually we don't have any kind of footings which are in circular shape or any other shapes like rhombus, diamond shape, those things are not there. Only square, rectangular mostly, or trapezoidal. So we'll go with Cartesian coordinates only. So here, as I was mentioning, we have two types of coordinates, Cartesian, cylindrical. We always try to prefer the Cartesian coordinates only. So here, how many grid lines you need? You can see number of grid lines. How many grid lines you need? So we don't know. Logically speaking, we don't know how many grid lines we need. So randomly we'll give some number. So currently I'm not working with any model. So I'm just trying to show you the experience of software. That's it. So I'll just give it as, let's say, I'll give it as some 6 in X direction and 6 in Y direction. I need 6 grid lines. That means I need 6 grid lines along X direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. And 6 grid lines along Y direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. So this is what I indicate. And the next option is grid spacing. What should be the spacing between grids? So you can give any value. So you can see it is given in terms of meters. If you give 6 here, it's in 6 meters. So what is this distance? So distance between the two grids. Okay, this one. So this distance will be 6 meters. Okay, along the horizontal, that is along x-axis, you can define a separate spacing, and along y direction also you can define a separate spacing. That's completely up to you. Okay, so right. So usually we'll give the grid spacing as common grid spacing. So let it be 6 and 6 meters. Okay, you can give any value here. So let's say I'll give it as 5, 5. You can give 1 also. There is no problem. You can give any grid spacing values. Okay, so Anyways, we can change, okay, we can change the number of grid lines requirement, number of grid spacing requirement in the later cases also. I'll show you that, right? And then you can see an option called grid labels. So I was telling you the grids we can define. So let's say we have grids 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And along y-axis also we have the grids 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 grids are there. So for each grid, there should be a label. Just like in AutoCAD, if you remember, for each grid, we should have a label. So grids along x-axis. Let's say I'll call this as 1, 2, 3, 4, likewise 5, the other ones. So this is called as grid labels. Okay, these are called as grid label. Similarly, along y-axis also, we should have the grid labels. That let's say I'll call this as capital A, capital B, C, D, E, F. So these are all grid labels along x-axis and along y-axis. Okay, right. So grid labels, if you click on this option called grid labels, you can see this one. So let me click on grid labels. Let me delete this one. Right. So here you can see X grid data and Y grid data. So X grid. So do you want to give it in terms of A? So let it be A only. Okay, you can also give it a small a also. There is no problem. So capital A, let it be like that only. And here you can see beginning X ID. So how, from where it should start? Suppose, what does it mean? It means, suppose you have the grids like this. Okay, let me draw only 3 grids just to save time. Right, you have these grids. So X grid data, what it is talking about, label from left to right. So what does it mean left to right? Left to right means the grids will start, I mean the labeling will start A, that is left side, B, C, D. That's called as left to right. Okay. Suppose if you select this one, right to left, what it will happen? A will start from here, okay, B, C, and D. This is how it comes. So this one is with respect to left to right. This one is with respect to right to left. Okay, that's the grid labeling. So you can define according to your convenience, you can define it from left to right or right to left. So usually we'll go it from left to right only. It's up to you, again, completely up to you. That's with respect to X grid data. And similarly, the Y grid data. For Y grid data, for Y grids also, you can give the labeling from top to bottom to top and top to bottom. That's completely up to you. And here you can see the grid label, that is 1, 2, 3 like this. Suppose if you have selected label from bottom to top, so it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the bottom to top. Suppose if you select this one, top to bottom, then it will be like 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's how labeling will happen. Okay, so you can select according to your requirement. Click OK. And now we can modify the spacing also. How to modify the spacing? You can see an option called edit grid. Okay, we can see an option called edit grid. So just click on edit grid and you can see all the details. So you can see a section here. Okay, so this dialog box talks about the labeling part. So X grid data you can see here. Okay, you can see the X grid data, you can see the Y grid data. You can change anything that you want. Okay, again, here also display grid data as ordinates or spacing. So these two are important. What is meant by this? Ordinates is nothing but, okay, so let us first understand what is this ordinates. Ordinates is nothing but, here you can see X ordinate, Y, I mean 0, 5, 10, 15. These are the distances. Okay, that means here if you see in this dialog box, okay, can you see this dialog box? Okay, there is a grids that are visible here. So how many grids we have given? 6 grids. So that's why you can see 6 grids here, starting from A, B, C, D, E, F. 6 grids along x-axis, 6 grids along y-axis. So the same diagram you can see in the small dialog box also, I mean in this window, right? So here if you see the grid spacing, so A will start at a distance 0, B will start at a distance 5, C will start at a distance 10, D will start at a distance 15, E will start at a distance 20, F will start at a distance 25. What is this? Let's understand this grid defining. So let me delete this part. So here, what does it mean is, suppose let's say this is first point, second point, third point, fourth point, fifth point, and sixth point. So what does it mean? A is starting at 0 point. So let's say this is the origin. So 0. From A to B, okay, from A to B, the distance is 5 meters. Okay, from A to B, the distance is 5 meters. From A to C, okay, from A to C, the distance is 10 meters. Okay, from A to C, the distance is 10 meters. From A to D, the distance is 15 meters. From A to D, the distance is 20 meters. From A to F, the distance is 25 meters. So here what is happening? The distance is being calculated from the first point. Okay, the distance is calculated from the first point. That's called as ordinates. Okay, that's called as ordinates. Similarly with y-axis also. And the next option is spacing. Okay, if you give spacing, what will happen is, what is the distance between each point? From A to B, what is the spacing? From B to C, what is the spacing? From C to D, what is the spacing? Like this. So here, when you select a spacing, you can give individual spacing between 2 points. When you select ordinates, you should give the first point and you should not give the distance between 2 points. You should add it to the previous distance. So 0 plus 5. B is at a distance of which distance? 5 meters. So you have to add this 5 to the previous one. Okay. Now C is at a distance of which one? You have to add, C is at a distance of 5 meters. Okay. So 5 plus 0 plus 5, which is 10 meters. So like that, you have to give the grid spacing, either in terms of ordinates or in terms of spacing. So you can select anything. So usually people are often confused with the ordinates part. So I'll try to go with the spacing only. Okay, you can give spacing. So that's completely again up to you. Okay, so like this, you can give anything, any dimensions. So let's say from A, okay, along X grid data, if I give the grid spacing or the grid data as, for A, I'll give it as 5. Okay, what does it mean? The distance from A to B is 5 meters. And if I give here it as 7. Okay, what does it mean? This 7 means the distance from B to C. Okay, the distance from B to C is 7. And if you give here, let's say 6, the distance from C to D is 6. And D, if I give it as 0, let's say, let's assume it in this way. See if I give it as 0. So that this is the distance from C to D. Okay, sorry, this one. The distance from D to D is 0. So like this, you can give. So once you start the modeling part, you'll understand this one very clearly. Like this, you can give. Suppose, let's say, I don't want these two grid lines. E and F, I don't want. How to delete this? So you can just click on delete in your keyboard. So select this one and then delete. Okay, select this one and then press delete in your keyboard. Right, that's it. So like this, we can define the number of grids. We can add the number of grids. But how to add it? If you just click on this one, a new grid will get added. Suppose, let's say, I'll give it as new grid. See, the next grid is coming, F. As soon as you click it, the next grids will appear. Okay, so like this, you can create number of grids according to your requirement. This is X grid data. Similarly, Y grid data also. Suppose, let's say, I'll give it as so spacing as 6. What does it? This 6 means? 6 means the distance from 1 to 2. Let's say for this one, I'll give it as 7. What is this 7 represent? The distance from 2 to 3. For 3, I'll give it as 6. That is distance from 3 to 4. For 4, I'll give it as, let's assume it as 6 only. That is the distance from 4 to 5. For 5, I'll give it as 7. Some numbers I'm giving here. This is the distance from 5 to 6. And for 6, I'll give it as 0. That is the distance from 6 to 6 is 0. That's how we can give. That is one option, right? The distance that you are going to specify. And the next one is grid color. Can you see the grid color, right? So currently, one thing which you have to observe is in this window, can you see I have deleted some grids. How many grids are there along x-axis? Only 4. Can you see 4 grids along x-axis? Yes. How many grids are there along y-axis? 6 grids are there. Can you see along along y-axis 6 grids are available? So that's how this diagram will automatically get synced. Suppose let's say I'll add the fifth grid here. Let's say I'll give it as 5. Okay, I'll give it as 5, and this one I'll give it as some distance. Let's say I'll give it as 5 meters. Can you see here the fifth grid has got added? So like this, we can add as many grids as you need. So I'll delete this one. It's not required. Right. So that's how we can give the data. Right. And then the next one is you can see the grid color. So grids you want in which color? Okay, you want in which color? So let's say select this one, and you can see whichever color you select, the grids will be visible in that color only. Okay, let's assume that I'll select a black color and I'll give OK. That means all my grid lines will be visible in the black color only. And then bubble size. What is this bubble size? Bubble size is nothing but these labels are there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A, B, C, D. These labels sizes are called as bubble sizes. So you can change this one. Suppose let's say I'll give it as 1500. You can give any value. I'll just give it as 1500. So once you give this as 1500, that means the bubble size will get increased. Okay, better view will get. Right. So, and then the next option is hide all grids. If you select this one, what will happen is you will not be seeing grids. If you uncheck this one, then you will be able to see the grids. Okay, it's always, I mean, it's up to you whether you want to see the grids or not want to see the grids, but this is how you can, if you check this one, grids will not be visible. If you uncheck this one, grids will be visible. So for time being, let us see the grids. Okay, right. And then the next options are these ones, model datum. Okay, this is the first one, model datum. So what is this model data? It means it's a reference line. Okay, where your modeling should start. My modeling should start from the ground level. That means this ground level, I'll consider it as 0 meters. Okay, I'll consider it as 0 meters. So that's called as a model datum. Datum point is nothing but a reference line. Okay, so here usually I'll take the value of model datum as 5 meters. You can give any value, there is no problem with that. So I'll just give it as 5 meters. That means my reference line will start from 5 meters. Okay, that means whenever I do any modeling, my modeling will start from somewhere here. So at a distance of 5 meters from the ground level, my modeling will start. That value can be anything. There won't be any effect on your analysis or on your design. That's a model datum. And the next one is story height above. Okay, usually the story height for any buildings will take it as 2.5 meters. So let us give it as story height above as 2.5 meters and story height below as 2.5 meters. Anyways, I'll talk about these 2 points in the later cases also. Okay, we have to understand these ones. But for time being, usual story height for a typical buildings is 2.5 meters, and story height above is 2.5, story height below is 2.5. Anyways, we'll talk about these values later. Right. So with this, we have defined the coordinate system. So, and then click on OK. Okay. So once you click on OK, what will happen is you will see the grid lines. Okay. You will see the grid lines. So let me click OK. Right. Can you see the grid lines here? So this is not required. Let me close this window. Can you see the grid lines? So these are the grid lines. Can you see the notations here? The grid line notations? 1, 2, 3,
Yes, sir.
4, 5, 6, all these things. Like this, you can see the grid lines along x-axis and along y-axis also. So if you want to zoom in and zoom out, you have the scroller bar in your mouse. So just scroll that scroller bar or scroller wheel, you can say, so that if you scroll it to the front side, you will zoom in. If you scroll it to the back side, it will zoom out. That's how you can work, right? So this is all about drawing the grid lines. So how to draw the grid lines? We have two ways of drawing the grid lines. One is in the form of Cartesian coordinates, and the other one is in the form of radial coordinates. Okay, Cartesian coordinates is nothing but x, y. Okay, radial coordinates are nothing but radius and theta. Okay, the cylindrical coordinates are radial coordinates, anything you can call. So this is how you can draw the modeling of grid lines, or you can do the modeling of grid lines. Now, what we will do is we have to do the modeling now. Okay, we have to do the modeling. What modeling? Let us draw a simple sketches, a simple type of the footing slab, all these things. So let's do the modeling now, and let's see the basic details of our sample project. Okay, some sample project we'll assume, and then we'll have the modeling part. So for this one, what I'll do is I'll start it from next session. Okay, because we need to go at a little faster pace from here because modeling part will actually start. So if I start now, it will become intermediate. So I have to stop midway. So what I'll do is in the next session, I'll start from the modeling of a project. Okay, a simple modeling of a project by using the same grid lines. So for this one, I want to save this one. So how to save? Just do Control S. It will automatically ask you to the save location. So just save the file wherever you want. So I'll just save it in my location. Just give me a second. So I'll save it here. So I'll give it as model 1. And this one, I'll give the name, file name as model 1 sample. You can give any name, that's up to you. So you can see the file type is being saved as FDB. This is the format, just like DWG, I mean the XLS, DOC, the file extension of safe software files will be .fdb. Okay, right. So let me click on save. Once you save it, the file gets saved. Right. So from the next part, I mean from the modeling part, we'll see it in the next session. Right. That's from my end for this particular session. If you have any doubts, you can unmute and ask the doubt. Thank you.